A man searched the world for a hidden garden said to grant all desires. He crossed oceans, climbed mountains, chased every clue, but the gate would not appear. One evening, too tired to go on, he sat beneath a tree and closed his eyes. And there, in the quiet, the garden bloomed behind his ribs, untouched, eternal. You see, it was never out there. It was always in the stillness, waiting to be remembered. Have you ever wondered why the more you try to manifest, the further your desires seem to drift? What if the very effort is the thing that blocks the unfolding? You've been taught to visualize, to affirm, to act, but today you'll discover a deeper way. In this video, I'll show you why stopping isn't giving up. It's tuning in. You'll learn how silent manifestation works, how vibration frequency rises in stillness, and how your inner world becomes the cause of all things. Stay with me, because when you stop trying, you finally begin creating. A potter does not shape clay by force. He waits for its stillness, then places his hands. Creation begins in silence, not in motion. I tell you now, the first movement of all reality arises from that which does not move. It is in this great stillness that manifestation is cradled. You are not here to push reality, but to remember where it begins. Beneath every object you see, every thought you think, lies a silent field of infinite possibility. This field does not shout, it listens, it waits. It is not built from substance, but from vibration, potential, not proof. This is not the world of doing, but the realm of being. And in this realm, you are the cause. Science calls it quantum field, but I say to you, it is the womb of all creation. Within it, everything you could ever imagine already exists in vibration, waiting for your alignment. When you close your eyes and still your breath, you do not vanish, you return. You return to that sacred center, that soft pulse of power which knows no effort. This is where silent manifestation is born. To reach it, you do not run, you rest. You enter that invisible space behind the eyes, where thought ceases and vibration begins. That space is not empty, it is full of unseen life. This is your true source, your quiet knowing. And once you remember that place, you are ready to understand the power of non-action. A leaf does not strain to fall, it simply lets go, and the wind carries it. So it is with those who understand the ancient way. They move not through force, but through grace. Non-action is not doing nothing. It is the deepest form of doing. It is the art of aligning with life's current. And you, my friend, are already floating downstream. The old masters of the East knew what modern minds resist, that the path to power lies in surrender, not control. They called it Wu Wei, the sacred non-doing. It is not passive, but profoundly participatory. You do not bend the river to your will, you become the river. This is the beginning of energetic alignment. When you act from this state, the universe moves with you, not against you. You are no longer resisting the natural rhythm of vibration frequency, you are resonating with it. Your choices no longer come from fear, but from knowing. And when you know, you no longer try, you allow. Manifesting without effort is not a trick, it is a remembering. In this still surrender, you begin to see that silence is not empty. It is full of instruction. What the mystics wrote in scrolls and silence is the same thing you feel when you stop trying. Clarity. The mind becomes soft, the heart becomes precise, and so we move, not into effort, but into the still blueprint between all things. A child once asked, "What holds the stars apart?" And the wise replied, "The silence between them." In the same way, everything you see, your body, the air, the chair beneath you, is not solid, but spacious. Even an atom, when you look closely, is mostly emptiness. But it is not a dead space. It is vibrating, invisible intelligence. You are built upon stillness. We have been taught to worship form, the things we can touch, own, and measure. But true creation lives not in the particle, but in the pause between them. That space is where intention dwells. It is the breath before the word, the stillness before the sound. It is here, in this space between motion, that quantum stillness begins to speak. Understand this: the void between particles is not lack, it is potential. Like the pause in a symphony, it holds the next note before it is played. When you learn to dwell in that same inner stillness, between desire and effort, you become magnetic. You are not drawing from physical effort, but from energetic intelligence. This is how silent manifestation unfolds. In the material world, we chase solidity. In the spiritual, we embrace the invisible. And in the quiet space between, all things are shaped. This is the blueprint, the divine gap that gives rise to movement. And once you honor the gap, the space, the void, then you will begin to sense where vibration truly begins. A singer breathes before she sings. A wave gathers before it rises. So too must you return to stillness before anything can move through you. The beginning of all vibration is not noise, it is quiet. And that quiet holds more power than 1,000 spoken affirmations. This is the secret chamber of creation. When you sit in silence, truly still, your vibration begins to purify. It is no longer scattered by thought or dulled by doubt. It sharpens, refines, becomes coherent. In that coherence, you are no longer requesting reality, you are becoming it. This is the pre-manifestational state, the energetic womb where all forms begin to take shape. Too many seek to manifest with words alone, thinking the universe hears their voice. But I tell you, it hears your being. What you hold in silence, your emotional tone, your unseen intention, that is what speaks loudest. Not the shout, but the whisper of who you are becoming. And it is this whisper that forms the real prayer. So allow yourself to settle, to slow, to feel. Feel the pulse beneath the silence, the vibration frequency forming beneath the surface. This is where reality is conceived, not performed. This is where your true work is done, not in pushing, but in presence. And once you are fully present, the field will respond to your gaze. There was once a lamp that only lit the room when someone truly looked at it. Not glanced, but saw. This is how the universe behaves. Nothing appears real until you bring the fullness of your attention to it. Reality waits in silence for your gaze, and the moment you look with intention, it awakens. Science calls it the observer effect, but the mystic calls it the power of consciousness. Your pure, quiet awareness is not passive. It is profoundly creative. It does not wish or want. It sees. And in seeing clearly, it collapses potential into form. This is not a metaphor, it is law. When you focus from a state of quantum stillness, not mental noise, your attention becomes sacred. It is no longer scattered across doubts, distractions, or fears. It becomes whole, and in its wholeness the field aligns. You are not chasing outcomes, you are aligning the invisible architecture behind them. This is energetic alignment in its truest form. So I ask you, where is your attention when you are quiet? What are you feeding with your still gaze? That is the thing becoming. Not what you try to affirm aloud, but what you deeply expect in silence. For the field listens not to your effort, but to your inner direction. And in that direction, all things follow. A man once dug furiously for water, only to find it in the quiet ground he had already stood upon. So many strive, push, act, believing their motion will make it real. But I tell you, frantic effort without alignment is like rowing upstream with a hole in the boat. It leaks energy, it drowns the truth, it blinds you to your own power. Action is not the cause, it is the echo. The world you see is but a mirror of the state you carry. If you act from lack, you create more lack. If you act from fullness, you overflow. This is why doing, without vibration frequency, leads to exhaustion. It is not about doing more. It is about being more aligned. Your power does not lie in the steps you take, but in the stillness from which they rise. When you align first, in thought, in emotion, in breath, action becomes inspired, not forced. The energy you carry leads the results you create. So sit, feel, align, and then move, if movement is still required. This is the way of manifesting without effort. Stillness before action is not delay, it is preparation. Like the archer who waits before releasing the bowstring, you must feel the target before you move. And when that alignment is true, the world moves with you, not as resistance, but as reflection. And in that reflection, the next level of sustaining vibration begins. A candle in a windless room burns steady, but place it near a window, and every gust shakes the flame. So it is with your inner state. When you guard it from mental turbulence, from doubt, comparison, or impatience, it shines with unwavering power. The held state becomes the sculptor of your world. You do not need to repeat the desire endlessly. You need to become it and let it settle. Let the seed root. Every time you interrupt it with worry, you dig it up. This is why manifestation fails, not from lack of vision, but from lack of faith in stillness. Trust is a vibration, and it must be held, not hurried. When you can hold the state, silently, faithfully, the field begins to take shape around it. Your circumstances may not yet change, but the reality has already shifted. The echo is forming. The outer will follow the inner, as day follows night. This is the unseen movement behind all true manifestation. I tell you now, do not be swayed by appearances. Let the state be your compass. Stay there. Walk through your world as if it already is. And when you feel the impulse to check, to question, to doubt, return to stillness. For it is in the quiet continuity of that state that your highest frequency takes root. A tuning fork held in silence still sings, not aloud, but inwardly, in resonance. So it is with stillness. What the world calls inaction, the wise recognize as refinement. Stillness is not the absence of energy, but the mastery of it. It is the highest frequency, not the lowest. And it hums in those who have remembered who they are. When you dwell in true stillness, you are not withholding power. You are concentrating it. You are not frozen. You are focused. Energy that once scattered across many fears is now whole. Like a beam of light focused into a laser, your vibration becomes sharp, alive, divine. This is the superpower the busy world forgets. In this stillness, you are no longer reacting. You are radiating. The field begins to organize itself around your stable presence. You stop chasing alignment and become alignment. It is not what you think you must do. It is who you quietly decide to be. From that decision, the field moves, not before. So trust the stillness. Feel its hum. Let it rise in your chest like warm breath. For this is the language of creation. Quiet, sure, unwavering. It does not need to explain itself. It only needs to be heard. And when you hear it, you are ready to step through the final gate. A single breath, taken with awareness, can open the door to the infinite. It is not the length of the breath that matters, but the attention within it. The breath is the bridge between thought and no thought, between self and source. You do not need a ritual. You need only to return to breath again and again. For in that return, the still point awaits. When you breathe with presence, you enter the quantum stillness behind all action. You no longer chase vibration, you become it. You quiet the mind not by force, but by rhythm, and the field listens. It always has. The moment you stop doing and start breathing, the door opens without effort. This breath, this soft, conscious inhale, is the most accessible portal to energetic alignment. You don't need to go anywhere. You only need to be here, now, in this breath. When your breathing is anchored, your state is rooted. And when your state is rooted, manifestation flows like water down a gentle hill. So breathe, not to relax, but to return. Breathe to access what was always there. The space between thoughts, the still hum beneath the noise. This is the true beginning, and yet it is also the end. The field awaits, and now that you've entered its quiet center, the parable is ready to be heard. So now I ask you, what have you been trying too hard to force into being? Can you feel the power that rises in stillness, in trust, in the quiet knowing that you are already aligned? Let this be your invitation to pause, to breathe, to witness what unfolds when you stop striving and simply become the vibration you seek. If this message resonated with you, I'd love to hear your reflections in the comments. And if you'd like to receive more truths like this, remember to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell. Your stillness is the beginning of everything.